We're going to change gears here to a very hot topic that has to do with the economy, immigration. It's a big deal, especially when it comes to politics. And when we talk about the economy, we need a little help here, so we're going to, helping us weigh in here, we welcome Tamar Jacoby, President and CEO of ImmigrationWorks, and Talib Karim, Managing Attorney at TEC Law Group. Both of you, thank you very, very much for joining us on Biz Asia America. And this is it's a controversial topic, especially here in the United States, where some would argue that immigration takes away jobs from people here in the United States. So I'm going to give you a chance, both of you, to talk about this. Let's start with you, Tamar. Does it or does it not hurt the economy?
It's a great boon for the economy. It's a great benefit. As any economist will tell you, you need two things for economic growth: a labor force and innovation. And immigrants bring both. High-skilled immigrants bring innovation. Less-skilled immigrants fill in gaps in our labor force where we don't have enough workers, particularly at the unskilled end.
Talib, you've gone on the record critical of it, actually.
I have, because I take a nuanced perspective. On the one hand, we do right now have a shortage of highly skilled, trained workforce members to particularly work in our tech sector. For example, every year we graduate about out of 9 million people receiving federal Pell Grant monies, we only graduate 40,000 that receive science degrees. However, the economy needs 120,000 to keep the tech sector to its fullest capacity. And so therefore there's an 80,000 degree holder gap. So right now, you're right, we do have a problem. But we believe that the tech sector and the other business sector should invest in some of the leading academicians who don't have jobs.
Is it possible that the viewers watching on television might agree with part of both of what you're saying? I guess my question is, Congress is working on a possible solution. Is there a solution, and what does the solution look like?
Sure, I think the solution is that we should allow the people that we need to grow the economy, we should welcome them and allow them to come legally. Right now, our pipelines, the visa programs are out of sync with our real labor needs. We don't encourage enough students who get high-skilled tech, engineering, PhDs, other kind of degrees here to stay. In fact, many of them go back to China instead of staying here. And we don't actually allow enough farm workers and busboys and nurses' aides to come into the country legally either. We need those.
Talib, you have heard this argument before. Immigrants come to this country. Most are not rich. Most are hardworking. And they end up paying taxes. They build a small business. They hire more employees. And they prosper. What's wrong with that?
Well, I actually agree with it. I'm a tech lawyer, so of course I want more tech entrepreneurs coming into this country. And I would support the concept of allowing those people who have gone to our colleges, some of the best colleges in the world, to stay here. However, what we're saying is that the business leaders should invest in those young people who are coming out of colleges with no degrees, such as lawyers.
So you're not really opposed to immigration. It's a specific kind of immigration that you would...
And I'm not opposed to investing in our domestic workforce. Of course,
so I guess we are in sync and congruence with this. And that's the reason why I think we both support the STEM provisions in the new immigration reform bill that is coming through Congress right now.
But I also think we actually need more low-skilled workers as well. Americans are getting more and more educated. As recently as 1960, half the workforce were high school dropouts. Now it's about 10%. But we still need people to work in restaurants and work on farms and work in
I have a personal question to ask you. My father came to this country with less money than probably you and I have in our wallets today.
Wow.
He worked as a bartender, a waiter.
That gives me goosebumps.
The rest is history. Now, here's the question. What about, he came in legally. What about the illegal workers in this country? Because some would argue that why don't we give a path to make illegal workers legal, not to reward them in any way, but really to get them to pay taxes. I hate to say it that way, but for a lot of us looking at the economy, that's what we need is tax revenue, is it not?
I agree with that. I mean, I am a product of immigrants myself. And so, of course, I'd like to see a pathway towards legal citizenship. But what I say I support in the existing package that have come out in the Senate is a fund that would be dedicated towards training even some Americans who right now are unemployed.
I'm not against Of course, you need a path to legal status for the people already here. We have a population the size of Ohio living amongst us on the wrong side of the law, not paying taxes.
Hiding, essentially, in America.
Of course, we need to encourage them to come out of the shadows. But even more important than that, we need to create a legal way for workers like that to come in the future so we don't end up with another 11 or 12 million unauthorized immigrants in 10 years.
And I support that. All I'm saying is that we need to train those Americans who are unemployed, so at the same time that we're bringing in people from overseas, we're also making sure that we're not leaving those who don't have jobs behind.
Okay, quickly, we're almost out of time, but I do want to get your opinion as to what's going to happen to these proposed discussions happening in Congress right now. What's the outcome going to be?
I think they're going to pass a bill. Both houses are going to pass legislation this year, and they'll probably reconcile it maybe early next year.
I agree, but I think there has to be that type of fund set aside. And we're going to be discussing that on May 23rd on Capitol Hill, so hopefully to see you on 23rd of May.
You guys are great, very gracious of you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll certainly talk about this topic much more.